Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of episode number 21. If you caught part 1 of episode 21, I was briefly discussing a little bit further into the rumors of what potentially could be the Toronto Marlies moving out to Hamilton for next season or the season after. And in regards to part 2, I wanted to make episode 21 AHL related. So not Marlies per se, but just AHL in general. And speaking of AHL, well, we're on our road to the Calder Cup. And so instead of doing a podcast related episode, I wanted to do an on screen part 2 in terms of episode 21. I just wanted to break down of what's been going on so far in the Calder Cup first round and who's already heading towards the semifinals towards the 2025 Calder Cup. And we're going to break down each division, who's won the matchup so far, and who the teams are so far in the semifinals. Well, we're going to start in the first round and beginning with the Atlantic Division with the Providence Bruins and the Springfield Thunderbirds. So far, the Springfield Thunderbirds have a commanding 1-0 series lead over Providence. Now, just to mention too, the first round is only a best of 3, and so as of right now, Springfield has a 1-0 series lead. So if Springfield wins their next game, they are on to the Atlantic Division semifinals, and they will take on the Hershey Bears. So the Hershey Bears are waiting in the Atlantic Division semifinals for the winner of that series. Game 2 of the Atlantic Division first round, it will be on Friday, April 25th. Providence at Springfield, and then back in Providence if needed. It will be on Sunday, April 27th, and that will be at 3:05 p.m. So Springfield having a 1-0 series lead. If they win the next game, they're on to play the Hershey Bears. If they lose, we got to go to a deciding third game. Well, in the Atlantic Division first round, we have the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins taking on the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, and the winner of that series will take on the Charlotte Checkers. Well, so far, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms have a commanding 1-0 series lead. If the Penguins win the next game, we'll go to game 3. But if Lehigh Valley wins their next game, they will take on Charlotte. And speaking of the Toronto Marlies, they are also in the first round best of 3 matchup with the Cleveland Monsters. The winner of that series will take on the Laval Rockets. And so the first game of that series will take place on Thursday, April 24th in Cleveland. Back in Toronto for Saturday, April 26th of Game 2, and then if needed, a deciding third game will be played in Toronto as well on Sunday, April 27th. In terms of the Pacific first round, we had the Abbotsford Canucks taking on the Tucson Roadrunners. If anyone is unfamiliar, the Tucson Roadrunners were the AHL team of the former Arizona Coyotes, as of right now, the Utah Hockey Club. Abbotsford, they won that game, 4-3. Game 2 will take place on Thursday, April 24th in Abbotsford. And then if needed, Game 3 will take place in Abbotsford again on Saturday, April 26th. The Pacific first round matchup of the Ontario Reign and the San Jose Barracuda. So that series, Thursday, April 24th is Game 1 in Ontario. Saturday, April 26th in Ontario again. And Monday, April 28th in Ontario as well for a deciding third game if necessary. And then the other Pacific Division first round series is the Coachella Valley Firebirds and the Calgary Wranglers. In the first game, Coachella Valley won their game 4-3 in triple overtime. And so game 2 will take place on Saturday, April 26th in Coachella Valley. And then if needed, obviously again, if a deciding third game is needed, it will take place in Coachella Valley on Sunday, April 27th. So as mentioned, the Hershey Bears are awaiting their Atlantic Division semifinal opponent. The Atlantic Division semifinal opponent is yet to be determined as the Charlotte Checkers are awaiting them. The North Division semifinal series is awaiting their other opponent, as one of them will be the Laval Rockets. The North Division semifinal series is set as it will be the Rochester Americans taking on the Syracuse Crunch. Now, in terms of that series, Rochester will have the first 2 games at home. Game 1 taking place on Friday, April 25th and game 2 taking place on Sunday, April 27th. Then we shift over to Syracuse for the next 2 games. This is a best of 5, by the way. Thursday, May 1st is game 3. Saturday, May 3rd is game 4. And then, if needed, game 5 will take place on Friday, May 9th in Rochester. The Milwaukee Admirals are currently awaiting their Central Division matchup in the semifinals. The Texas Stars are going to play the Grand Rapids Griffins in the Central Division semifinals. In terms of that particular series, Grand Rapids will have home ice for the first 2 games. So game 1 will take place on Tuesday, April 29th, and game 2 will take place on Monday, May 5th. And then Texas gets home ice for the next 3 games for the best of 5 series. Game 3 will take place on Friday, May 9th. Game 4 will take place on Saturday, May 10th. And then, if needed, game 5 will take place on Monday, May 12th. And then the other Pacific Division semifinal matchup, the Colorado Eagles are currently waiting on their other opponent to decide a winner. So that is just a look at the current results of the Calder Cup playoffs as of right now. I will record another episode when we get closer to claiming a Calder Cup champion and the current status of what the other matchups turned out to be. But in the meantime, thanks so much for tuning in to part 2 of episode 21. Be sure to tune into our YouTube channel, subscribe, like any videos, comment if you wish to interact with us, follow us on Spotify as well as follow us on Bluesky for all of our latest up-to-date notifications. Thanks, and we'll see you again soon.